This is Chaya Lester with a poetic commentary on Parshat Shemini. This week's reading places before us the sobering tale of the deaths of Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron. The grand opening and dedication of the tabernacle is in full swing. God has consumed the first offerings and gloriously appeared before all the people. Into the midst of this ecstasy step forth the newly consecrated priests Nadav and Avihu. They bring forward an incense offering, which is referred to as a foreign fire, something which had not been commanded. The flame of God bursts forth, literally consuming the brothers as surely as it had consumed the burnt offerings. A tragedy has occurred in the midst of ecstasy. The tabernacle, God's worldly dwelling place, will for all time be linked with and founded upon this event, the incomprehensible death of two sons. As I share this, I'm still reeling from the latest scenes of tragedy here in Israel. Still fresh in my mind's eye are the harrowing images of the Fogel massacre, the blood-stained slaughter of children. Still vivid in my imagination is the shock of shrapnel that exploded at the bus stop a short walk away from my house. A piercing howl of why rises in all of our hearts. Why such death? Why the slaughter of sons and daughters? Surely, at its best, the establishment of the State of Israel is a modern-day erection of a Mishkan, an abode within which God may dwell. And just as the dedication of the Mishkan is somberly marked by the death of Aaron's children, so too the otherwise extraordinary founding of Israel has been marked and scarred by the tragic loss of sons and daughters. To live in Israel is to encounter both the rapturous joy of arrival as well as the wrenching pain of violence and loss. How are we to reckon with such unsettling admixtures of promise and pain? How are we to respond to the deaths of children, either by the hand of God or by the hand of enemies? While it would be anathema to offer pat answers to such sensitive and complex questions, we all wonder how best to respond to such incidents of national loss. Where better to turn for wisdom on this complex issue than to Moses' words of instruction to Aaron upon the death of his sons? The text reads, "Then Moses said to Aaron, 'This is what God meant when he said, I will be sanctified in those that come close to me, and before all the people I will be glorified.' And Aaron was silent." Moses goes on to instruct Aaron and his remaining two sons, "Do not let the hair of your heads grow long, nor rend your clothes, lest you die, and wrath come upon all the people. But let your brethren, your brothers, the entire house of Israel, bewail the burning that God has kindled." The text here seems to point to two archetypes within us. One is the priest, and the other, the brethren, the brothers, the entire house of Israel. There is the priestly part of us, which, like Aaron, stays silent, which does not rend clothes, which is not lost in lamentation. This is perhaps the voice of utter faith, the part of us that intuitively knows the mystic truth of the rightness of divine will, bewildering as it may be to human senses. This is the voice in us that accepts that even this tragedy is the finger of God, a brutal but necessary offering for the consecration of the tabernacle. But then there is the part of us that is represented by the brothers, the house of Israel. This is the rest of the nation, the majority of our being, the part of us that feels deeply and is compelled to mourn, lest the priest's mystic truth desensitize us to the searing pain of loss or anesthetize us to the important task of tikkun olam and fixing the world. This familial love for one another prompts us to lamentation, to weep over the precious lives which have been torched and taken. This is the task of the Achim and Beit Yisrael, the brothers and entire house of Israel. What's more, it is precisely when we touch that emotive and expressive point of mourning and pain that we ourselves become brothers and sisters in a completed household. When we mourn each other's losses as our own, we merit the deepest sense of being an essential member of the house of Israel. In our shared mourning, we become family, and somehow, in the middle of our loss and lamentation, the very house of God is established, and the divine dwells in our midst. This house of Israel is in Avelut. We sit upon the floor and weep. The mirrors are black, our robes are slashed, and leatherless our feet. Our clan is clad in ash and sack, a dirge between our bones. A wail of anguish unabated rises from this home. The penance of admission here is expression of lament, authentic rasp and risen, mangled and intense. Here the graves are multiple and flanked with stacking stones, which could perhaps be launched at enemies, but sit instead a memory of what is gone. Our weaponry is our weeping, our protection is our prayer. Our strength is born when we gather to mourn, made siblings in shared despair. And in lamentation lies our comfort, and in this meeting our Mishkan built, founded firm on the raw resilience of the families of the killed. But hear this, our love is mightier than our anger, for we are a nation of mothers and fathers and priests. We build houses out of war stones and change cemeteries into sanctuaries with our songs of hope. We are made stronger by this weakness. We will last longer because of loss. We are the priestly descendants who offer up our incense in this house of God and pay the cost. And though the ravenous altar may take the lives of those who tend its flame, we will make of this land a looking glass for God's impending face and pen his name. A knock upon the lintel lets in the Shiva guests. God shuffles in amongst them and bends to offer his condolences. And in the madness of the morning and the anguish so immense, a Mishkan is suddenly erected, raw and regal and resplendent. And a sacred space is made amidst the family who endures such loss and grief. And the Mishkan looms strong amidst the weeping throng, and God's presence refuses to leave.